Hello everyone, we are Kylie and Olivia from Dr. Azim's Programming in C++ Spring 2019 class. For our project, we wanted to create a program that is functional for all Taylor's University students. We noticed that everyone has a hard time choosing what to eat every day on campus, so we came up with the Taylor's Restaurant Picker.
We started off our program by including IOStream, vector, and ctime, and used namespace standard. Our plan was to create a vector string with all restaurants in Taylor's, then use a user-defined function to eliminate unwanted elements from the vectors according to the user's preference. We chose to use vectors because their sizes are flexible and inconsistent. Now on to declaration and initialization. Firstly, outside the main function, we declared and initialized constant strings globally for all 24 restaurants, so it will be easier to change the restaurant if the restaurant is closed or renamed in the future. Then we created a vector string consisting of all these restaurants. We declared variables for timing and created vectors that consist of restaurants that are open at certain times. We declared and initialized a number of constant string vectors for the closed restaurants after certain times and days. We created constant vectors which contain the opposite elements of the category, so we can eliminate the unwanted restaurants later on in the program. After that, we did the same with the different categories of restaurants. We have 5 categories for the food, which are halal, fast, cheap, vegetarian, and local food. Then, we declared variables to check the conditions of the certain categories and a string to contain the name of the final restaurant picked. Now, we have our function prototypes. We created many functions in our program so we do not have to clog up the main function. Before the functions, we wrote sran unsigned time. This was to call the randomizer function that we used.
Display intro function is called to display the introduction of this program. And this is the introduction. Next, the calling of time function. Time function is defined to get the time that user wants to have their meals. ctime header file is used for this function to access that and time. In this function, an object of type time t is declared to store time value. In order to get the current system time, time 0 is assigned to time t now. In the next line, a pointer is declared to the tm structure, representing local time in the form of a C structure. In this function, a switch statement is used so the user can choose to key in the date they want to eat, or just press -1 to eat now. So, for case -1, the current system date, hour, and minute have to assign to the integer variables day, hour, and minute. By doing this, an arrow operator is used to access structure member tm. If the user chooses not to eat now, they can key in the number of the day, which will be shown in the output. After they key in the date, user will be asked to key in hour and followed by minute. Integer variables day, hour, and minute will be assigned to the value entered by user. If there is an invalid integer, user will be asked to key in valid integer again, and the control will jump back by using goto statement. After getting the day and time, now we have to eliminate the restaurants that are closed for the day from a vector which includes all the restaurants. All the restaurants are usually open for weekdays. So for weekend, case number 0 and case number 6, an elimination function is called to eliminate closed restaurants. For the definition of elimination function, Olivia will help me explain about it afterwards. After elimination, operation time function is invoked to eliminate the restaurants which are closed for the certain time. If the users want to eat before 8:30, those restaurants will be eliminated. If the user eat before 8:30, those restaurants won't be eliminated, but eliminate the restaurants that are open after 9:30. Next, we have less options function, which is defined to stop the following functions when there is only 2 options left at the moment. If statement is used with the condition of the size of all restaurants vector is less than 3. If the condition is true, user will be asked to enter a number to choose which restaurant they want to eat, or they can press -1 to choose one restaurant randomly. The number entered is assigned to a local integer variable, decision. If the user chooses the restaurant by entering 1 or 2, display menu restaurant function is called to display its signature dish and exit the program by exit 0 statement. For display menu restaurant function, Olivia will help me explain its function definition afterward. If the user still have no idea which restaurant they want to eat, random function is invoked to pick one restaurant randomly and followed by the display menu restaurant function and exit 0 statement.
Display categories is used to display the 5 different categories of food you can pick from and a queue to input the category you would like with cin category. Then we have the function choosing category. In this function, we called another function which is the elimination function. This function will compare the elements in 2 vectors, which are all restaurants and the category of the food that has been chosen. Then, it will eliminate all common elements from all restaurants, leaving only the wanted restaurants left in that vector. The choosing category function uses switch to determine which categories of food the user wants to eat. If else statement is written in case 1 to 5, which represents each category. For the first condition, if the user chooses the category for the first time, the elimination function will be executed to eliminate the restaurants of unwanted categories from the vector of all restaurants. Then it will increase the variable picked 1 to 1 if category 1 is chosen. Picked 2 declared for category 2, picked 3 for category 3, and so on. The second condition is if the user accidentally picked the category for the second time. In other words, if picked 1 variable is equal to 1, the chosen function will be executed. In chosen function, it will print out a statement to ask the user to enter the number again. The number will be read and returns back to choosing category function. When the user enters -1, the program will end by randomly picking a restaurant by random function and displaying its signature dish by display menu rest function. When the user enters invalid integer, default statement will be executed. Goto statement is used here to jump to the beginning of the switch function after the user enters an integer again. Our final function call is display menu rest. We use if and else if statements to do this. For example, in the first if restaurant picked =R1, which is face-to-face noodle house specialty banh mi, RM8 will be displayed. We did this for all 24 restaurants, and this will be the final function run before the program ends.